Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is David Neyts, and today's topic is how to be your best self. We all have patterns of behavior that we have learned since we were a baby to childhood all the way through our adulthood. The problem with those patterns is that we've learned them via different experiences that we've had through our life. At the same time, depending on if these experiences were good or bad, we associate certain feelings towards them. A baby's brain is like a sponge that is actually made in such a way that it absorbs everything around them. We as human beings are made to assimilate as much as we can by learning skills, language, which are verbal or nonverbal cues, and basically become someone who can seamlessly traverse through society and life. Exposure to stress and trauma can lead to negative consequences in the development of a child's brain. This is why in our society we often hear that we need to expose children to positive things such as talking, reading, and playing, so that we can stimulate the brain's growth. Every adult feels this feeling of nostalgia where the past sometimes feels like they were the better, more beautiful days. The thing is that it's called nostalgia for a reason. We're not remembering the past accurately, we're simply seeing it through a candy-coated window. Or in other words, we sometimes remember things in a better light than they actually were. This is why we need to be careful as to what we are exposed to or are exposing our children to. If inadvertently at a young age you start associating something bad as a positive thing, then you can easily carry these habits into adulthood and old age. The bad exposure can range from poor eating habits to being lazy to bullying people, poor studying habits, and can even lead to extremes such as drug use or alcoholism. We all have good and bad habits, no matter how good or bad our early brain development was. Myself, living in Hollywood and doing my best to be a positive person who is a successful artist, I have found that incorporating a couple of good habits has been helping me into becoming the best person that I can be. Number 1, practice makes perfect. Changing the way your brain works, especially if you've been doing something a certain way, takes a lot of time. You really need to assess what habit isn't working for you and basically purposefully teach yourself a new way to do it. Let's say you have a bad habit of arriving late. Maybe a good way to start changing that habit is to actually change your watch and put it 30 minutes forward. Of course, you know that you've changed the time on your watch, but psychologically you are initiating change. It might not work the first time. The analogy of practice makes perfect really comes into effect if you compare it to sports. Why sports? Well, because it's easy to see if somebody is good at something or not. Think of it like a baby learning to walk or a child learning how to swim. They didn't just do it in one day. It took them time to get to the point where they can walk by themselves or swim proficiently. Same goes with changing a habit. Don't expect it to happen overnight. Number 2, be proud of your successes. Haven't you noticed that pretty much everyone likes to speak about their problems? Some people have so many issues in their life that they even go to psychiatrists in order to seek help. The thing is that in life, we have a lot of failures, but we also have a lot of successes. We as humans often tend to replay something bad that happened to us over and over again, trying to see how we could have changed something for the better. Then when something good happens to us, we simply move on and keep on going with our life. The problem with that is that the brain takes about 10 to 20 seconds to actually gain conscious awareness of something. This means that if something good just happened and you simply move on and continue with your day, you haven't left enough time for the brain to actually assess that something positive just happened to you. Positive stuff doesn't have to be grandiose. It could be just a simple act of drinking a perfect cup of hot coffee in the morning. This is why we say being in the moment. Take breathers and take those 10 to 20 seconds to actually realize that you're present in the moment and drink an amazing cup of coffee. Number 3, surround yourself with good people. We're a social culture, which means that we like to have the company of others. By surrounding ourselves with good people, we can create a network of friends and family that can enrich our lives, deepen our self-awareness, and give us love, support, and recognition. Our brain is a relationship organ. It's only by interacting with people that we can actually create an environment where we can develop ourselves. The people surrounding us are literally the psychologists to our brain. Without a listening ear, it's hard to talk over stuff. This is why seeking other people's opinions and advice is crucial to opening our brain to new ideas and resolving issues. As our own person, sometimes we need an exterior eye in order to see what is right in front of us. Number 4, take note on your progress. Whatever habit you are trying to change or simply better, you need to figure out a way of tracking its progress. As mentioned previously, all these things take time, and obviously, if you are living with yourself, then you might not be able to see the changes that are happening right in front of your eyes. A good example of this is not noticing how you are aging through time. The reason you don't notice that is that, well, the changes are microscopic. It's only when you pull out a picture from a few years ago that you realize that you look different than you did before. This is all to say that it's not because things seem stagnant that they really are stagnant. Sometimes things are brewing in unseen areas, and with time they will develop into what your final goal is. Number 5, you're in it for the long run. Understand that if you're trying to make better habits, it's not a temporary thing. It's something that you're trying to change in your essence and trying to practice for the rest of your life. This is why you need to find ways of integrating it in your way of being, and in the long term, well, a way of life. It's nice to say that you're going on a diet, but what if it's not just a diet and you could make better eating habits forever? Try to find balance in whatever you are trying to change, but the real key is making the change so seamless that eventually you don't even realize that it's happening. It's basically a part of your whole being. Let me leave you with this quote. There's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in doing something, you do it only when circumstances permit. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. Art to rock. In the end, just take your time, but if you follow all these steps and continue seeking and acknowledge the fact that you want to better yourself, I think you'll be fine. I'll even go as far as saying that even if you are your best self, you should still seek to better yourself even more. We are alive and improving, learning, and being a good person is a lifelong lesson. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I took a long time researching this subject so that I can motivate people in succeeding within their own path. If you enjoyed this video, well, please be sure to subscribe. I have new videos all the time. Also hit the like button so that the gods of YouTube can make this video available to even more people. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.